Morning, everybody. I'd like to open the meeting at 9:03, and nice to see everybody in the room today, which is really good. I'd also like to say thank you to you all for putting yourselves out and taking the time for our pre-budget forums. Everybody gave it our best shot, and I think we were very well received amongst the community. So, Rob, thanks to you and the LT and all the councillors, thank you for doing your job well. Thank you. Right, let's move on. Could somebody move the minute of confirmation of the minutes of the ordinary meeting on the 9th of April 2026? Councillor Brompton.
I move that the minutes of the ordinary meeting held on the 9th of April 2026 be confirmed.
Seconded. Councillor Vincent. All those in favour? 9-0. 10.1. Proposed adjustment to the 2026 meeting schedule. Date change May and August. Councillor O'Neill.
I move the council amend the second ordinary meeting date in May from Thursday the 21st of May to Wednesday the 20th of May 2026. 2. Amend the second ordinary meeting date in August from Thursday the 27th of August to Tuesday the 25th of August. And 3. Publish the updated meeting schedule on council's website reflecting these changes.
Seconded. Councillor Seawright. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Mayor, very quickly, these couple of changes are important due to conflicting events that are happening on these particular days. The first is we'll have a launch of some initiatives around Road Safety Week in the region on that week in May, and then of course in August the Western Alliance of Councils, Western Queensland Alliance of Councils is holding their annual forum, get together across those days. It's important that we have representatives there.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. 10.2. Local Government Remuneration Commission schedule commencing the 1st of July 2026. Councillor O'Neill.
I move the council receive and note the findings of the Local Government Remuneration Commission's review.
Seconded by Councillor Brompton. Would you like to speak, Councillor? Would anyone like to speak? For? Against? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. You're right, 9-0. 10.3. Upcoming deputation and briefing topics. Councillors briefing May 2026. Anyone going to move? Councillor Brompton.
I move that council receive and note the report noting an additional budget briefing date of Friday the 15th of May, and that Thursday the 14th of May is a budget briefing.
Can I just ask, sorry, just if you're right?
Yeah, no, oh, sorry, I'm still daydreaming on the thing there. We've already declared previously, so I just got to...
Well, just the list now includes Roma and District Rugby League, Senior and Junior, and Queensland Rugby League. I don't think we've had those listed in the deputation.
It's the same. Yeah, they were at the last one, weren't they? I can't talk. The Waddles Oval User Group one.
I don't even look at that.
Yeah, they're all the same, so it's the same declaration.
Is it with the Queensland Rugby League?
Yeah,
and the Roma?
I think they were in the room last time. I'm looking at the people that were in the room if they remembered blokes with their own shirts on.
The Queensland Rugby League
Queensland
was
Rugby
not
League.
at the last Waddles Oval User Group meeting that we had.
What was they here the other day for?
I'll hear it separately.
He was separate.
Regarding the same
Yes.
matter.
And that had
Same matter.
No.
coming as a deputation.
Did you want to be in the room or you out?
No, I wasn't in the room. I just remember being here because I was out of the room.
But will you be out of the
Do you
room?
want to be out?
Do you want to be in
But
the
isn't
room?
that-
Are you
No, I
able to be
ca-
in the
I
room?
can't. We've
You
already
can't,
declared
right,
for
so he's going to be
Waddles.
out of the room anyway.
It's only
He's
it's only if you want to be in the
Yeah.
room.
Yep.
But isn't that that's really nothing to do with today. It's the day that we have the
Yeah.
briefing that we have to.
Can't make decisions at a
Briefing.
At a briefing.
So you have to, the reason this comes before us on days like today is so that if you wish to put it to the room under the current legislation,
You can
you
put it in
can
the
deal
room.
with that today.
And that's right.
If you
And then
wish
I
to
think
stay in the room.
that particular conflict with those two particular councils, they got out of the
doesn't make
room.
sense
So
to me. Sorry, that user group there comes to us with a briefing. We then we then make a decision on whether we have got a conflict of interest when that briefing comes. And then after that, when the details from that briefing come back to council, we actually then also declare the conflict of interest. As far as the fact that the briefing is coming to council, they're telling us today, has nothing to do with any conflict.
So you want to be in the room for that meeting at the briefing?
No,
No,
but
no,
I
you
then
don't.
declare it that day.
Correct, yeah, so.
I don't declare it today.
Yeah, it's only if you want to stay in the room.
It's only if you want to stay in the room.
Pardon?
It's only if you want to stay in the
That
room.
you declare it today.
Yeah,
You have to
that's right.
declare
Then
it
you make
today.
that decision on the day the briefing's on, not
To get out of
today.
the room.
If you wanted to make the decision on the day to put it to the room, there's no mechanism to allow you to do that because it's not an ordinary meeting of council. Council Flynn, we've introduced this pre-briefing report to allow you, if you do want to be in the room, you have to put it to the rest of us. You can only make that decision at an ordinary meeting. That's why it's on the agenda today.
And it's only if you wish to stay in the room. If you're leaving the room, that happens anyway.
leaving,
It's,
that happens anyway,
yeah,
so
you don't need
We've
to.
left the room for every
Yeah.
time. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So everybody's
Yeah.
happy. Okay. Did somebody move it yet?
I moved it.
Oh, seconded by councillor Davis. Wishing to speak, councillor?
Not anymore, thank you.
Everybody good? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. 11.1, Audit and Risk Committee meeting report, the 16th of February 2026. Councillor Crumpton.
I move that council receive and note the update from the Audit and Risk Committee meeting held on the 16th of February 2026.
Seconded. Councillor Vincent. Would you like to speak, councillor?
Yes, Mayor. We've been getting these reports now after a few meetings, and I think they're great information for council so they can see what the Audit and Risk Committee has been discussing and a bit more detail than just what's in the minutes. I suppose the in the overview are where some of the concerns are for the Audit and Risk Committee that are assisting council. For example, the ongoing issue with procurement audit findings. So we continue to work on that. And I note that you'll also note that the external auditors, QAO, are actually including procurement in their audit this year too. So I'm hoping that we would have done a bit more work prior to then to make sure that we can get over the line with our procurement processes.
Anyone else like to speak? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. 11.2, 26-27 council fees and charges. Have a mover? Councillor Brumpton.
I move that Council 1 adopt the fees and commercial charges with the commencement date of 1st of July 2026. 2, resolve that in relation to these cost recovery fees to which Section 97 of the Local Government Act 2009 applies, 1, the applicant is the person liable to pay these fees, and 2, the fee must be paid at or before the time the application is lodged. 3, delegate to the Chief Executive Officer the power to amend fees and charges to which Section 2623C of the Local Government Act 2009 applies.
Seconded by councillor Davis. Anyone got any questions?
I just got a question. This particular document is not our full list of fees and charges. Am I right in saying that?
Should be.
It should be, councillor, yes, absolutely. The ones that have been in before council, we've talked about all those fees and charges. This is that complete list. It won't include things like, for example, the price of goods that we're selling at the big rig or anything like that. It won't include anything like that in there.
You found something missing?
Yeah, where do we look at, well, the discussion I want to preempt is where are we looking at the swimming pool fees and charges because of the fact that they will be included in the 26-27 budget.
If I may, so the intent because we haven't yet set those fees as a council group, the group hasn't settled on that fee yet. So when council settles on that, we'll re-adopt
Well, that's why I'm asking the question.
Yeah.
That's not the full list of fees and charges.
Well, it is as it was
As of
currently
today it
stands.
is,
Yeah.
but it's not our full list of fees and charges.
No, but yeah.
It will be amended when you determine what the fees and charges will be.
That's why,
Yes.
that's the point I'm trying to make.
That's fine.
And you can amend your fees and charges at any stage during the year. So.
All right. did you want to speak, Councillor Brompton? Sorry.
Yes, thanks, Mayor. So in general, these fees and charges have been adjusted between 3.2 and 3.5%, which is the CPI. We have rounded to the 5 or 10 cent mark where applicable. We've tried to ensure that pensioners' fees haven't gone up significantly across the range. So I'd like to thank the staff. We've spent quite some time reviewing these in council, and the staff have given us some good advice on and where we've done and on benchmarking. Last year we did a much bigger benchmarking exercise, but this year there was still some benchmarking done as well for some that you know the staff had picked up that we needed to look at. So I commend these fees and charges to everyone to adopt.
Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Vincent.
Just quickly do thank the staff for the work they do behind the scenes in regards to this. There is a lot of fees and charges there, and they're continuing looking at making sure that we're not overcharging and we're not undercharging. So thank you, and again, we're adopting them early to ensure that the stakeholders that rely on these fees and charges to on charge or to do their business, that they've got plenty of time to change them.
Thank you. Anyone else? All good? Vote to sum up? You no? Okay, let's go. All those in favour? 9-0. 11.3, 2025-26 Q3 Progress Report Operational Plan to the 31st of March 2026. Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move that Council 1 receive and note the 2025-26 Q3 Operational Plan Report, and 2 endorse the Q3 report as presented in accordance with Section 104(7) of the Local Government Act 2009.
Seconded by Councillor Hancock. Anybody got any questions? Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Thanks, Mayor. This is a really thorough report, and I thank Rob and Brett and the team. We've obviously had a really good look at this over the last couple of weeks. The format's right for us now, and we've made further little tweaks and whatnot over the last 12 months, and I think this is the detail that we need to feel comfortable that the operational plan that we adopt on an annual basis is moving in the right direction, and equally it highlights where there may be some deficiencies in the approach, and the appropriate oversight is being carried out by council, and it's really helpful to have a report like this to do that job. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. 15. 11.4, Monthly Financial Report as of the 31st of March 2026. Councillor Brompton.
I move that council note the monthly financial report for the period ended 31st of March 2026.
Oh, is that it? Okay. Sorry, I was waiting for a lot more. Seconded by Councillor Davis. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. You'll see that our year-to-date surplus is a little bit better than what was anticipated, but however, our end of year is still we're still forecasting to be on budget at end of year. One notable thing is that our expenditure for capital works project, the budget expenditure is only 35%. However, if you turn to page 228 of the report, you'll see that we've got commitments of another $32 million. So we're looking at around a $70 million expenditure, and notably in the past, council has managed $40 to $50 million in capital expenditure. I think the pool's making a big difference to what we're doing. But I was a bit concerned when I saw that, but I've talked to the CEO and he'll probably give us some more details about the commitments as well.
That's all right, yeah. So we've got, as of today, we've actually got 44.2 mil is our actual. We've got commitments up there to 73 mil. So if we do nothing else, we'll have 73 spent by the end of May. Obviously, we've got another month to go then. We're probably tracking on hitting about that $80 million mark. As Councillor Brompton said, over the last 8 years, our average sits we've been spending about 44 million on capital works, and that's over the last 8 years. So we're probably actually looking at doubling what we would normally do. So there's some projects still in the budget that council's approved to push out to next year. There's some road works we're doing with Santos, and because of timing with them. But yeah, no, as I said, if we do nothing else, we'll hit. We're looking at hitting 73 million by the end of May, but we're aiming for that sort of that 80 million, but almost double what we had. But Cam, you're there, just some of those projects, that's probably the air conditioning, Bolland Road.
Yeah, so through the Mayor, CEO is correct there. There's sitting about $33 million worth of commitments. The big ones, 24 million of that is made up of 5 projects. Yorba Surratt Road, air conditioning, Acadia Valley, the rest area just on the other side of town, and obviously the pool there. So essentially, as Councillor Brumpton mentioned, we've got a significant amount sitting in the commitment there. We've also got another $5 million of commitments sitting there for plant that, again, like the report's a cash report, but these commitments are sitting there. So if you did add, as obviously this is to the end of March, as of this morning, if you pull the same report, we're sitting at about $43 million expended with another 33 million committed and that. So overall, as the CEO mentioned, probably $73 million if nothing else was to be spent. What I would flag though is we aren't immune from the impacts of this oil price that's happening over in the Middle East. We've already made a decision on the reseal program to mitigate council's risk on not committing ourselves to major budget blowouts. So there will be further discussion on projects to the value of about $5 million where they are at the time they were estimated prior to this issue, but we've got the reseal program which has already been tabled, but airport general aviation overlay and the SAR yards overlay, the tender prices have come in significantly over budget. Only reason I'm flagging that is I'll bring a briefing on them projects to discuss, but there is a chance that somewhere in the order of $5 million may struggle to be spent on the capital works program because of the budgets we're seeing are almost double what we would have expected with the bitumen price and diesel prices going up. So, but so just wanted to sort of expand on that. But from 2017-18 to 2024-25, our average capital works has been 44.2 million every year. And if we were to hit our current plus committed and no more, that'd be 73 million. So almost double our capital expenditure, and obviously we're seeing that out in the region of that. So so it's actually positive in terms of the financial position plus a big capital works project. But we'll keep pushing. But I'm just sort of flagging there'll be challenges to hit the 90+% of the capital works program this year, simply because there's a couple of big projects now that it could be recommended that we defer them or look at another time once the peak comes out of the bitumen and diesel prices, because we're paying an absolute premium at the moment. So.
Makes sense, doesn't it? Councillor Vincent.
I've just got a question, if I may. Just on page 256, in regards to the Injune Lagoon Walk resurface, has that project been completed? It's on time and on budget. It's just that the expenditure is significantly lower than what the budget was for that project. So,
Sorry, which one, Councillor?
256, Injune Lagoon Walk resurface.
Second line.
Second line from the top.
Mayor, I'm happy to speak to that one. The local team have resurfaced that through the jet patcher. This was flagged the other day as part of our quarterly update. It appears that the costs have gone to like the typical maintenance of because it was done by the jet patcher. What will probably happen in the next few weeks will be that'll journal out of the Injune Street town maintenance into the actual capital works program. So it's just how the costs have been assigned. It just needs to be corrected. So.
Councillor Seawright.
Just through you, Mayor, on the same page, 256, the line above, just that footpath, Perry, Stevenson Street, the crossing there. Just wondering where it's at. I think we're going through design and funding, obviously.
Yeah, so that project is obviously for a pedestrian crossing near the school across to near the skate park there. We've submitted that to TMR. We've just responded to a couple of information requests on that, but there's a chance that they would fund maybe over 50% of that project if it can get across the line. So we'll know sort of in the next month or two whether that's coming through. If not, we can consider the remaining budget for council to put forward. So, but it's good that we're getting questions asked about it. The team, I've seen an email this morning on this exact project where TMR. So that's under what they call the STIP program, so School Safety Upgrade Program, and that. So yeah, short answer is it's probably not due to start in the next month or two, but we definitely have an iron in the fire to probably save 50% of that project.
That's awesome.
But I'll make the commitment to make sure that if it doesn't look like we're going to get it, we'll present that as part of 26-27, so council can make a call to say, let's just get it done. We can finance this for the full amount.
Yep.
So.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councillor O'Neill.
I might have asked this before, but the report on attachment 2, which is the projects report, can we add another column that adds some commentary like in the op plan?
Yeah, that's fine. Like, it can be a further refinement. We've already got a column there that has internal commentary. It's just probably starting to train the staff that if it is going to go external, it needs to change the language. Sometimes there's stuff around contractor performance or where stuff is probably reasonably confidential, but it would be just making sure that it can be no different to the op plan. So we can have a look at it. It will create just that little bit more work because we want the internal commentary to reflect what is appropriate for internal updates. But yeah, I think that would be we just have to work out how to actually do that. But
Unless it's a through you, Mayor, to Rob, unless it's a
briefing
prior to the council meeting that if there are confidential elements that have to be shared, because like if you look on page 258 under public toilets, it's got the Wallumbilla Showgrounds replace the dump point project. Now that was raised the other night at the forum. It'd just be handy to have just a little bit of commentary as to where that's at, because I'd hope we're about to do it, given that we're leading into tourism season. That's all.
Yeah, I know I've got, like, with those out and abouts with the budget there lately, I take my capital works project and mine's actually got the full list of all the notes there, so I can actually talk to it. So
But we're not getting that.
I know that. I just
Yeah.
so it's I can actually. So I'm saying we can produce it. Probably, I think what we'd probably better off doing, like you suggested, at the brief, perhaps in that way, rather than, because as I said, you can see it's pretty hard to read at the moment without another column of the notes there.
Yeah.
It gets even smaller there. I'd be happy to just probably at the brief, that way print out on the A3. It's got the notes there. That might be a better way of doing it. And then for the adoption one, we just go with the refined one for the meeting. So.
through Rob, that would be able to be implemented instantly because it exists at the moment. So through a briefing, and that's just that extra column. So I think that would, at least then we're not having to introduce another column, additional work for the officers and delaying that for a few months. You could get visibility to that almost instantly. So.
Yeah.
We were down at Strat the other night there, and Councillor Hancock had one there. I had the sheet there. We could actually pull it out and have a look at it and had the notes.
Yep, no
We
worries.
can do that. Yeah, I think the briefs is a good suggestion, councillors.
Particularly for us when we see, you know, the yellow lights generally on track with minor issues. Well, let's have some detail of what those minor issues are.
All right. Okay. Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. 11.5, lease over lot 2 on SP 309872, option to renew. Do I have a mover? Councillor Seawright.
I move that council approve the extension of lease over lot 2 on SP 309872 for a further 5-year term, utilising the option to renew, expiring 31st of October 2031 with Brent and Nadia Zollner. Authorise the chief executive officer or delegate to execute documentation relating to the renewal of the lease.
Seconded by Councillor Burkett. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
No, thanks, Mayor.
Anyone like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. That was a good one, Ria. That was a good one. 11.6, Maranoa creche and kindergarten option to renew lease. Councillor Davis.
I'd like to move that Council 1 approve the extension of the lease over lot 13 on R8613 with the Creche and Kindergarten Association Limited for a further 3-year term in accordance with the existing lease provisions, 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or delegate to execute the necessary documentation.
Seconded by councillor Hancock. Would you like to speak, councillor?
Just briefly, the C&K Maranoa Community Kindergarten, which this lease is for, is an important service to our community that continues to add to the livability of our region. It is well utilised, and I'm happy to support the extension of this lease today.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? No, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Thanks, Leah.
Thank you.
13.1, Community Book Exchange. Do I have a mover? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move the council, one, receive and note the report confirming the locations and community partners for the Community Book Exchange program across the Maranoa region, and 2, approve up to $8,000 for implementation from Tourism and Community Development Management and Support Materials and Services GL 28020012012001.
Seconded. Councillor Hancock. Would you like, anyone got any questions?
I do, yeah.
Councillor Vincent.
Just with the locations, some of them are quite touristy related rather than community related. Was there a reason some of those were chosen?
Through Mayor Councillor Vincent, these are the locations that we discussed in the briefing a couple of months ago and just chose upon, but happy to make some amendments. We can, discuss that after the meeting and change some of the locations if you'd like to look at.
Yeah, okay. I was just thinking with the Surat, it's a long way for the community to go out to Fisherman's Park if they want to exchange a book. Or
I could speak to that.
oh, okay. I know there's one out there on the table now.
And it's in very, very poor repair, and it really needs to be gone because it's so bad. And we also have some in town, so we have some at the library and we have some at the daycare centre that's in town. So we'll just spreading them around.
Okay.
Who else had a question? Councillor Brompton.
The report is silent on, once it's done, who's going to maintain these. We can say it's a community exchange, but I think if council puts it up, we have an obligation then to make sure that, one, people might put rubbish in them or vandalise them. 2, what happens if people put inappropriate books in there, like if you've got porn or things like that. So who is doing that? It is totally silent on once they're up. You can't think that they're just going to... I believe we have a responsibility then to ensure that they're safe, that, what happens. It's not clear to me.
We have a thought about that.
Yeah, through Mayor Councillor Brompton, we do note some of the risks associated within the report, but I think what we discussed in that briefing, it's a little bit self-governed. Hopefully the community do step in and change the books around. If they do notice that there's inappropriate material in there, they notify council. We work with our operations managers and parks and gardens to ensure that they are well presented and maintained. I think it is a little bit community governed, and if they do notify council that they do need some works or to be fixed, then we can assist there.
Councillor Burkett.
Yeah, I think just on that, to be same as community notice boards too. Someone's got to continually up in case someone puts political stuff or whatever on there. My question's the allocation $1,000 for each area. And some have got more than others, so just a blank. I think that's obviously going to be savings under that. I think it's great that the amount of people involved that can share the love with making them and painting them. I think that's a good thing.
My question
Ms.
was
Mayor,
why does Mitchell get 3?
I think it's because of the work camp, because we don't have to pay them. I was just going to say, Councillor
Saving.
Burkett, because the work camp are non-receiving any funds. I think that's why we might have less money than everyone else. And ours was just replacing what we already have as well.
You've already got them.
We've already got one at the youth hub, but it's just a bookcase. We wanted the youth hub because we wanted to involve the kids in reading. We thought there was just another option there for them. And I priced it at the same as what, say, Georgie might spend in Roma, would be about the same. But we don't have to do 3.
No, you can do 3. I was just curious.
Yeah.
I think it was with the work camp, though. I did notice in the report the work camp will be doing, is the only one that's doing Mitchell, so
Yeah.
they won't get charged for that.
Yeah. Councillor Davis.
I just had a question. Since it is a pilot program and we've named several locations in Mitchell, and just wondering, what's next. So, like, has any thought been given? This is supposed to be a pilot to see if it works. Other towns on the list as we progress, and if it takes hold.
Yeah, and through Mayor Councillor Davis, if we then want to look at some of the ones at the tourism visitor information centres, there's some at different caravan parks, whether we work in with them to have them upgraded to look similar. Also just noting with rural libraries, just to ensure that we're still directing people back to the libraries and encouraging people to be aware of their events and initiatives that they're putting on as well. So, changing QR codes, stickers, information that's kept, just, if we get feedback that this should be included or amended, then we can continue working on that.
I think it's worth a go, personally. Councillor Hancock.
Just maybe to Councillor O'Neill, whether you consider amendment just in line with what Councillor Vincent said about, and then response from Officer Georgie about the locations. It says receive and note the report confirming the locations. Maybe it's about giving in principle support for the locations, just in case there becomes an issue somewhere and the location might need to be changed.
Are you happy to change it, councillor?
Just thinking of the words
Yeah.
first, because that doesn't quite,
No. I was hoping you'd be able to tidy that up, Councillor.
well, the mayor's putting pressure on now.
I just thought you
Say
were
the
asleep.
one-
I was just checking.
No, I was
even know
coming out
the
with another
report.
amendment.
Example maybe is the one in the McDowell Street near main intersection, whether there's, business has been consulted, because that's quite a hard spot to get a book.
Through Councillor Vincent, I suppose just in terms of visibility, but we'll work with the operations manager. I'm mindful that the crossings, it does get busy in terms of the trees, the festoon lights. We'll discuss with Andrew about the best location along there, but I think initially in that briefing it was just due to being on the main street and the visibility of it, and there are some already at the big rig. The library has the cart, like unofficial ones there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
They're
in
not
the
like
car
the
park.
books houses.
Yeah,
The
that
Empire
might be a
car
better
park,
option.
maybe.
We own it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's where we were hoping caravans would pull up as well.
So it could read something along the lines of the council receive and know the report and give in principle support to the locations with final sign off by the CEO or delegate. Then two would be confirm partners for the community book exchange across the Maranoa region. 3, approve the $8,000 as it reads. And then 4, a review on the community book exchange be undertaken in 12 months and a report be presented to council at that time.
I mean, it stays on my resolution list for 12 months until I can't close that one out when I do my resolution reports. I just noticed a lot of those ones we've been lately is because reports be brought back, and that's fine because they should be brought back at the time they handle it, because the expectation was 2 or 3 months. This one's 12 months' time. Does that mean I can't close that resolution out for 12 months?
The council undertake a review of the community book exchange in 12 months. You're concerned by saying and a report be presented to the upcoming council.
Yeah.
By just saying we're going to do the review.
Still won't be able to
It's
close it.
still going to be
won't
12
able to
months.
close
It is
And I
what it
just,
is.
Yeah.
I just,
Is that a problem?
Well,
You know
no,
what I mean?
it's fine.
Yeah.
Undertake a review of the community book exchange at the 12-month anniversary and a report be presented to council at the time.
Yeah, thank you. At least I can put that in the notes of the other, so.
Yeah.
All right, is there any other questions? Would you like to speak, councillor?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. I think this is worthy of a small investment to offer these community book exchanges across the community. I've been into a couple of businesses that have them themselves, and they seem to work at that local level for those businesses. So when I mentioned that we were exploring this at a more grander scale across the region, they were supportive of that as well. I think there does need to be some self-regulation. I accept if there's explicit material that should be removed, but sometimes literature and the level in which people determine what is appropriate or not can be the reader. I can recall my grandmother getting books from my mother, but feeling that they were too inappropriate. She read them and then she burnt them. So no one else could read them, but she read them. And so I think people are going to self-regulate themselves on this. And look, if the staff have a look through and there's something inappropriate, pull it out and put it in the bin. But we've got to go into this with good faith that people are going to do the right thing. We know, because people have told us, there are a lot of people with a lot of books that are in boxes in their houses. And now they're either going to be used in an exchange program or they're going to end up in landfill. And so if we can provide some opportunities to offer this, I think it's a good thing. The community groups, the engagement of the community groups across the region, particularly the men's sheds, I think is a good initiative. I've heard the blokes here in Roma talk about it. They like little projects like this. We've seen that in the Wallumbilla and the Mitchell men's shed as well. And I think this is a good thing. So happy to see the investment and acknowledge that I'm talking to her because the Mayor won't move it, but this is her initiative, and it's for us to consider today, and I think it's worthy of us backing it in and reviewing in 12 months and ironing out if there are any challenges that we've got to address then.
Councillor Burkett.
Yeah, I'm fully supportive. I think the key things is that we've got groups like the Men's Shed and the Work Camp that are going to do all this work, but also it's encouraging that kids are going to be involved to help paint these and take a bit of ownership. I think having it at the youth hub and then at the Weir, you're catering for, well, not only tourists, but that older generation, but you also got the younger generation getting involved. So I'm no avid reader by any stretch, but I do know it's a popular thing. So no, fully supportive, and hopefully we can make some savings along the way as well. So thanks to staff.
Councillor Hancock.
I'd like to speak, maybe I just actually have one question to the CEO. Just on page, just for governance really, on page 274, there's already a resolution saying to, number 2, refer to the estimated implementation cost of $5,000 for inclusion in the 25-26 budget to the regional libraries. Are we now, do we need to transfer the money? Because we're now swapping the GL, I just don't know.
There is no. Yeah.
Well,
The report states that that's been expended, that GL. So that's why the change, Councillor Hancock. There's no money in that.
Yeah, but does this resolution, understand that might be the process, but in this resolution it says that that's where we allocated the money to.
But it just in the budget, there is no money. It's been fully expended, so it doesn't exist.
We didn't allocate a budget. We were going to use money out of that budget.
Okay, so there was never a line in the budget for 25-26 for that
there wasn't.
For that project, right? Okay, that's just governance. I was just making sure we didn't have to transfer instead of.
Are you right, Director?
I was just going to ensure councillors understand the reason we're proposing in the resolution to take it out of the tourism and community development management is because there isn't any money left in the libraries, which obviously sits in corporate services, but in order to deliver this program, we do have capacity under that GL, so that's why the resolution incorporates that.
Yeah,
I
don't have a problem with that. You understand where I'm coming from?
I understand what you're saying, Councillor Hancock. The previous resolution, there's a contradiction there too. I'm comfortable with the word that it says refer rather than allocate. So, and for all the other reasons the other councillors mentioned there, that I'm okay with the resolution. But I understand where you're coming from. Previous resolution on the books, but yeah, the wording we used at the time was refer the estimated cost to there. It's fully expended. This one will cover it. So, but thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, yeah, I do. I just want to say that I think that this is a little project that we're putting through our regions that not only brings an opportunity to share books with community members and travellers alike, But I actually love the fact that it might bring also an additional bit of character to our communities. And the fact that our men's shed are making them and our work camps making them, it brings that little bit of individual ownership over them. And I think it will add to the character of our communities and something else for people to go and wonder what that is and have a look at. And so it's also an experience as they come through. So I'm happy to support it, and thanks to the team for putting the work in to bring it today.
Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Vincent.
I'm just going to speak in case there's someone reading it that has noted that there's nothing there for In June. In June has a really big book exchange at the library, which is very, very central in the middle of town, and they also currently have one at both tourism at the Caravan Park and at Possum Park. So as this is only a pilot program and it works and it gets some great feedback, well, it'll be great to get that community's feedback as where else they might like one of these ones going forward. So that was just a comment that it works well.
Yeah.
But at the moment, they've got such a strong book exchange already occurring in June. So
Let us know if they need any books, won't you? I've
think
got
they've got
people
a lot.
lined up for miles.
or if any, sorry, Madam Mayor, through you, or even in time if it needs updating, whatever they're using to do their book exchange.
Right, anyone else like to speak? Just like to say thank you too, girls. Like, I know it was a very small thought of mine, but you've turned it into something great. So thank you very, very much. All right, on that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0.
Councillors, just obviously, Kelly's team did a lot of work organising those budget out and abouts there too, but just thanks to the LDOs as well there too, just helping facilitate those just while they're in the room. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, 13.2, development application, material change of use, undefined use, domestic outbuilding, 45 Wheeler Drive, Roma, reference 2026/21680. Councillor Flynn.
I'll so move that the development application for material change of use, undefined use, domestic shed located at 45 Wheeler Drive, Roma, described as Lot 21 on SP 257148 be approved subject to the listed conditions and general advice.
Have a seconder, Councillor Burkett. Does anyone have any questions? I've just got a question on the height, 4.6 metres. What's normal? Why it's coming to us because it's how much over?
From the chair, it's actually coming to you guys because there's no dwelling. So within our planning scheme, a house has to be on the allotment first because a shed is ancillary to the dwelling house. No, the applicant is not going to live in the shed. Sorry, the owner of the premises isn't going to live in the shed. But a normal height is 4.5 normally to 4.6, yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Hancock.
Just a follow-up question on that. Do we check that no one then lives in the sheds once they,
Because they can, like they do sometimes do that while they're building a shed, house, like.
There's an approval process so if they wish to do it. We've also looked at our local laws. We've amended our local laws there too. It used to be 12 months, but our local laws, we've done some amendments there for longer consideration. But no, as a rule, we don't go and check. We do so many domestic sheds anyway. We go and do a final, I think, for a Class 10 structure, Kate. It's generally, I think under the legislation, there's only one. It's just we normally do a footing and a final. So we don't even normally do a framing for a Class 10. So we go through, do a final. What they do with it after that, it generally comes in via complaint if there's any issues.
Yeah, we do follow up on complaints.
Councillor O'Neill.
Thanks, Mayor. On page 289, it's got a figure that shows the location. Is it? How do they get a driveway into that block? Like it looks like, is it? It seems a very odd block to get access to with the proximities of the other two houses and their driveway, so.
Yeah, to come in on 45 and square up.
that's an answer.
it is an awkward shaped block, but yeah, they will have frontage to the road that they'll basically have to navigate across to the corner to. Don't have
Yeah,
the
that
area.
is a bit weird.
It's like it's gonna cut the house that's on the bottom right, isn't it? Like,
That red,
From the chair, I have discussed this with our strategic roads team. So, from their knowledge, when they submit the works and road reserve permit for the crossover into the yard, they do believe they might have to discuss with their neighbour to potentially either share some of the driveway cement-wise, or potentially get their neighbour to also move theirs, because from their point of view it has also been built quite awkwardly, and that block has been vacant for so long. We do assume the neighbour didn't ever think someone would live there. This has though been discussed with the owner of the premises as well, that they will need to work with us further in order to get that crossover in place appropriately.
okay. Look forward to seeing what that looks like.
Right, anyone else got any questions? Who moved it? Oh, Councillor Flynn, do you want to speak to it, Councillor Flynn?
Yeah, I'd just like to mention that the proposal was impact assessable. It has been assessed. Public notification about the application took place in accordance with the DA rules. There were no properly made submissions against this application, so I'm supporting the application.
All good. All right. On that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0.
Okay, who seconded that one?
Councillor Burkett.
Thank you.
13.3, development application, material change of use, dwelling house, domestic outbuilding, 483C Corf Road, Roma, reference 2026/21718. Councillor Flynn?
I'll move that the development application for material change of use to dwelling house, domestic outbuilding located at 483C Corf Road, properly described as lot 271 on SP 271326, be approved subject to the listed conditions and general advice.
Have a seconder? Councillor Seawright? Would you like to say, anyone got any questions?
this one had the higher, not that it worries me, I'm a shed buff, but I noticed it was very high. Is there no issues with that?
So from the chair, it came to you guys because, yeah, it's over height and over size as per our resolution set, I believe, in last August. There is a shed 2 blocks down from this that is the exact same height and size on Corf Road there as well. So it is quite high as per a general residential zoning, but for rural zoning, it is quite a typical height for that area.
Anybody else got any questions?
Just clarifying, it is in rural zone, isn't
Yes,
it? Yeah,
correct,
I'm
yeah.
reading that here, but
Yeah,
I was just
correct, yes,
making sure you
yeah.
said it. I was like,
Councillor Flynn, did you want to speak to it?
Just again, and just to answer Councillor Burkett's comments there, it has come before the ordinary meeting of council due to the fact that it does exceed the 5 metres in height on an allotment of less than 10 acres, but it was code accessible. It has been assessed against those benchmarks, and the DA rules that enable council to make that decision have been fulfilled, so I'll move the prepared to accept the application.
All right, on that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. 13.4, request for fee waiver, planning application 2026/21735, material change of use, home-based business beauty shop. Do I have a mover? Councillor Brumpton.
I move that Council 1 refuse to grant a waiver of the application fee of $620 for the submitted material change of use home-based business beauty shop located in Roma, reference 2026/21735, and 2, issue a notice to the applicant stating the waiver of the application fee of $620 has been denied, and the payment of the application fee must be made to Council within 10 business days in order for the application to be deemed as properly made.
Seconded. Councillor Davis. Anyone got any questions? Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Yes, Mayor. I can see that the applicant has stated because they already run a different homemade business, they have asked for a waiver of the fee. The fee is about the staff time to some extent for actually processing the application. It's regardless of how many businesses are there. There is a process that has to be taken, and the fee is to try to recompense us for some of the work that has to happen. So it still has to happen. So that's why I'm commending this to council to follow what the officer's advice on this.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Thank you, ladies. Nice to see you, Kate. Thank you. (13.5) Community Support Service Plan. Do I have a mover? Councillor Vincent.
Move that council receive and note the officer's report, including the Community Support Service Plan as presented.
Seconder, Councillor Davis. Any questions? Like to speak, councillor?
Just during the events and community grant planning we've been doing around policies, and with changes to staff, there's been a pickup that this service has not been done according to the funding. So we've just put a plan in place to ensure that going forward, the governance around that position is meeting all our targets and requirements that's required.
Anybody else like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Thanks, Tennille. (13.6) Application through a Regional Arts Development Fund, RADF, Program 2025-2026. Councillor Brompton.
I had a conflict there.
Sorry. Oh, sorry, you do too. Sorry. When you're ready, Councillor Seawright. Sorry.
You received that, Kel, or?
You're stuck, Kel.
Cool, that's all right. I wish to declare a conflict on item 13.6, application through Regional Arts Development Fund, RADF Program 2025-2026. The declaring council is myself. The persons of interest is myself. The particulars of interest, I am the president of the Wallumbilla Agricultural and Pastoral Association, who has made this application for funding to the RADF. It's a prescribed conflict of interest, and I'll leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on.
Thank you, councillor.
Make sure Kel has the words.
Councillor Seawright has left the room. Councillor Brompton, sorry.
I move. Are you right? I'll wait till Kel's right. I move that council endorse the RADF Committee's grant assessment recommendation and approve funding from the RADF budget GL 2885.2250 to support the Wallumbilla Agricultural and Pastoral Association Incorporated workshop for the sum of $2,140.
Seconder, Councillor Hancock.
I just think, yeah, I'm going to second, but I'm just with the words here, CEO, we're approving, like, we're not endorsing the RADF Committee's grant assessment, we're approving the recommendation, we're approving that.
Through the chair. Councillors, that was the format that was agreed to a little while ago in relation to this type of thing when it comes from an advisory committee like the RADF. So it's basically to endorse the RADF Committee's grant assessment recommendation and approve the funding. There was a recent one not long ago where this was exactly what was was resolved, and I think it was actually the deputy mayor who raised it at the time. I don't think it was an RADF. It was something very similar. Might have been with the community grants, and we've duplicated that resolution to reflect that.
Just give her a minute to think about that.
Sorry. I do remember that. I do remember that conversation. Oh, all right. Well, if that's what we've agreed to. It just seems now it's in front of me with this one. It just seems not quite right.
I
But
can't remember. It sounds plausible that that's something I'd say.
yeah.
Tony?
Team of officers, we did check specifically.
Yeah, we did.
So we are approving the funding. We're
Approving the
endorsing the recommendation that's come from
The
Assessment
RADF.
panel.
the assessment committee.
All right.
All right, seconded by councillor Hancock. Councillor Brumpton, would you like to speak?
Yes, I'd like to congratulate the Wallumbilla Agricultural and Pastoral Association for trying to think of different things to incorporate in the show, and I think as an art lover myself, I think it's great that they've tried to incorporate this interesting activity during the show, anything that will bring some more participants along, and I think it's great. It still leaves us with $11,800 odd in our budget, so there's ample budget there to support that this year, and I wish them all the best with and I'd like to, it'd be interesting to see the outcome of people's work as well.
Very good. Anyone else like to speak?
I don't have anything more to add. No.
All good. All right, let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, councillors.
14.1, high level route assessment, big rig to lake. Oh, sorry, yeah. Councillor Seawright is back in the room. 14.1, high level route assessment, big rig to Lake Neverfill shared pathway. Councillor O'Neill.
I move that Council 1 receive and note the report as an update on the route assessment project for a shared pathway connection between the Big Rig and Lake Neverfill / Campbell Park, and to endorse option 4B as the preferred alignment in principle, subject to further refinement as the project progresses through preliminary and/or detailed design, including consideration of flood immunity, environmental constraints and land tenure requirements. And 3B, presented with a cost estimate for next phase of the project for consideration as part of the 2026-27 budget deliberations, including potential external funding opportunities.
Thank you. Seconder. Councillor Vincent. Anyone got any questions?
Just a question. Through the chair, Deputy Director, the costing, is that going to be doable before budget, or is it already in place, those?
Yeah, through the mayor, probably the costing is realistically detailed design for the next phase of the project. I think this is what council is considering today is an extremely high level alignment. As we start to detail this further, there could be refinements to that and that, but at this stage it would probably be just a detailed design would be the next obvious stage of it. Really, this first phase under Works for Queensland was to highlight some really high level constraints and present a number of options. But projects like this, very early in the phase, it's not committing council to this. It's more agreement in principle. Let's continue to go down this path. Otherwise, we do expend a huge amount of resources trying to design 3 or 4 different alignments and that.
No,
so,
just that one alignment, yeah.
Yeah. So just to answer your question, yeah, it would be fine to get it in next, to have a budget prepared. But I'd be strongly recommending we do detailed design as the next stage, because if someone was to ask me at the moment how much would that cost, we'll end up in the same old issue of I've picked a number from my head based on length. We've got to do certain crossings here and that. It's going to cost double or that. So I think the detailed design's the next stage. So yeah, which I can fairly easily estimate a detailed design cost at this stage for that. So yeah.
Councillor Hancock.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Through you, and my memory is obviously not very good today, so you might have already answered this, Deputy CEO. But just, and I know we have had a briefing on it, just with the options, did we look at just instead of going through the subdivision, did we look at just following straight up the highway and in? Because it's not one of the options here.
Yeah, so it was looked at. Was it detailed as an option? No, like obviously as you can see. What the challenge was through there was just that big cutting, the big, if you go past much further to the east from Wormwall Drive, you've got the real big cutting that you go through with all the concrete batters. So to actually, the gutter of the road is right up against the face of the cutting. I'm not saying you couldn't go up and over, but my gut feel is the grades coming down will be far too steep for a compliant cycleway. They're only meant to be 14% grade max, so it'll be way too steep. Probably have to put a block wall to get down there.
Way expensive.
So we did look at it at a desktop level because it was a genuine option, but it probably just wasn't detailed because we thought the constraints were too great there. So, but yeah, hopefully that helps answer your question. It was looked at.
And the development that's there, that we've got the path going through, like I'm fine probably up until there, I was just looking at that. That development is, like we know that that's going to be the route, we know that's a road, we know that that's going to be the safest place, for people to be walking through an existing development.
Probably two parts to that question. That development's overlaid there based on what's been submitted to council to date and been approved, or it's up to the assessment sort of process. So
that could be the tweaks that we're looking at as well.
Yeah. The question about do I think it's probably the safest? I do. There's two benefits to that. You get the people that would be going from the town out to Campbell's Park. The further away from the highway you can get, the better, because obviously you got trucks on that highway. But it will also then pick up the catchment of that subdivision and feed them into that. Like that subdivision, for example, would be an extremely nice lifestyle where you've got quite big blocks, but you can then have a direct link to Campbell's Park and Lake Neverfill and that. So I think it really adds to it. We have flagged early in that subdivision process fundamental to try and have a direct link to that site. Typically, the subdivisions would be freehold land right up against boundaries, but by being able to go through there with a public path, I think is a benefit not only to the subdivision but all the users of it. It just gets them away from the highway.
You actually just made a really good point that I hadn't thought about, Deputy CEO. We're always thinking about getting the people out to Campbell's Park from town out there and then back, but actually you're right. It does add such benefit to that subdivision to give them access to town.
Yeah, and I liken it to
town.
I liken it to probably the one from Apex Park to the airport. If you sort of was to look at it simply, who would go from Apex Park to the airport? Not many people, but all the people that join it then use it as a running track or that sort of stuff. So it's footpaths, really critical links. So they actually have multiple uses there. So there is a little bit of a risk with that if that subdivision doesn't go ahead. But in saying that can be a discussion down the track where the council could take what they call a public access thoroughfare through that land if it was not to be subdivided in the future and things like that. So, these things change. I would see this as a fair few years out from actually being construction, but today's more around, is this generally the rough alignment, and then go from there. So.
Sold me.
So Cam, going through the subdivision, we would be building that pathway, wouldn't we? That would be our job. And my other question is then, is it going to be wide enough for bikes?
Yeah, so the subdivision at the moment, what you can't see on there is they would actually be through a road reserve, no different. So the subdivision will have roads all through it.
Yeah.
They're sufficiently wide to fit a 2.5 metre cycle path. It's part of our development conditions that subdivision of that nature needs to have a corridor in excess of, say, 20 metres wide, so you can get your road that might be 8 to 10 metres, and then footpaths and that on either side. So definitely more than enough width through there for that. And that, to the point where the developers also can see, if they do work with council, there is a value add here for both council, the community, and the developer. If they provide the provision for the extra width, it actually could benefit the livability and lifestyle out that way. So, but yeah, was that you? Yeah, there was two parts. Yep.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else got any questions? Do you want to speak to it, councillor?
Thanks, Mayor. I think this is a concept worthy of further investigation. We've seen the overwhelming positive response to the state government's project, which we were the contractor for the pathway that has connected Apex Park to the airport. There has already been significant investment over many years from different councils for the Adungadoo pathway. We're seeing investment occurring very soon into an extension of the Adungadoo through Sculptures Outback. And again, I know, Mayor, this is one of your pet projects and initiatives, but it is a project that I believe will add significant weight to the livability goals that we've got in place as a community. And in this regard, in Roma, of course, but it'll be an asset anyone can use. Even from a tourist perspective, there is a growing market of people, not that I'm one of them, that goes riding on trails. That could be an added advantage to attracting, a different type of tourist into our region. And of course, we've already seen last term and this term significant investment occur at Campbell's Park. And we see the real opportunities of making a Lake Neverfill something even more special. And I think all of these, concepts will work to achieve that. And so, to my mind, 4B, I think, is the best solution, particularly in and around how do we get people over the Bungle Creek, working in with the department as they look to the future of that bridge. I think this is timely that we use that as the way to get across Bungle Creek for pedestrians. So I think this is a win-win and worthy of investment to further explore it. As the Deputy CEO has alluded to, it will be a project that will take some time to complete. It may be very much a staged project over a few years. We've made it clear in this resolution in point 3 that it is really important that we seek external funding opportunities to make sure that this is a project that would be borne by partnerships from external levels of government to the local government. But I think this is a really exciting project and one that we need to keep pursuing.
Thank you. Councillor Davis.
I'd like to speak in favour of the motion as well, resolution. With the connectivity angle, the healthy lifestyle, what was interesting to me when we were at the Wallumbilla Community Forum was a resident in Wallumbilla mentioned the ability to get to the sale yards as well. So I said, we will explore all options about how we can make that and to get our visitors and residents over to that sale yard complex and the interpretive centre. So I'm really happy with the approach to this project management. We're not saying build it for $2 million because you get what you pay for. This is a strategic approach to say that this project is going to be a great community asset and the appropriate funds will need to be spent. But starting with this high-level route assessment that we're resolving today and progressing to a design, I think is a great way to go. And what will fall out of that is a lot of consultation around residents, community groups, park run. I just think it is a great step forward for livability and I'll be supporting it today.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Vincent.
I'm happy to support this resolution today. I think it is important, as both Councillor O'Neill and Councillor Davis said, for livability, and also as a council that is very looking at having projects that we're doing, but also projects in the planning stages and the early investigative stage as well. So I think we've got to continue along those lines of we've always got things in our sights that we're working towards, and this will really build on what's already been done out at Campbell's Park. And with the active lifestyle that people are looking for, it's another option. So I will be supporting it today.
I agree. I also think when you think of funding, I think there'll be a lot of community that will also be looking to, if we ask the question, to help fund if it gets that far. So thank you all. On that note, we'll go to the vote. You want to? Oh, sorry.
Well, I just may have had something more to say.
Okay. Sorry.
Can I sum up, if that's
You
all
can
right?
sum up.
Yep, given the three people have spoken. I just wanted to say that the vision that the Roma Town Council had, so long before Maranoa, was the Adungadoo pathway, and it had always been planned to get to Bassett Park. And I know former councillor Sheaf championed, as Councillor Flynn will remember, for a long time to see a continuation of that, and it was planned to run along the drain. Now, here we are 20 years after it was constructed. We had the state government step in and they've done what they've done along the highway. And so it has finally connected what was that original vision of Roma Town Council into Bassett Park and gone even further. I think if we start with this now, and it may take stages, it could be 4 or 5 stages by the time we get to Lake Neverfill, but it is achievable, and I think we are setting our future community up for something pretty special if we're able to get this off the ground.
I agree. All right, on that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Thank you, Deputy. We up to the late? L1, monthly report, meeting actions, update, March 2026, and outstanding actions. Do I have a mover?
Happy to move. I'll move and then I have a question. I move that council receive and note the officer's report as presented.
The seconder, Councillor Davis. Your question, Councillor Hancock.
On page 18, CEO, I know I'm going to raise it again, you're going to probably be sick of hearing me raise it, but just with the Surat Washdown Facility licence agreement, I just note in the response, it says that target date has changed to May, documents with coordinator for review prior to sending to applicant. So does that mean that point 2 of the resolution was that yourself was going to determine the annual rental amount, that you've determined that, you don't have to tell me that now, but you've determined that, and that's now in the documents that's going to be sent to them?
No, I can tell you I haven't determined the amount, but I might, did you want to come up, just talk about the lease though? I haven't had the discussions with them, I want to see the draft lease before I have the discussions with the groups, but an update.
Hello, Leah.
Hello. Through the chair, we have been, I guess, reviewing the charges and that licence agreement with the group for the use of the Surat Washdown facility. We are amending the document now to include the option for the fees.
So you have been talking to them? Yep.
I will need to confirm whether the team has been keeping the group up to date with progressing the access licence.
Because my concern is, this resolution is from August, and my concern is that while we're waiting, they're not paying, and the bigger concern is that they never have paid, and so the longer it goes on, we have a business using our facilities that aren't paying for it. So
I know the team have been reviewing it there. Even if they've had some discussions, I've probably become aware this week. I was down at Surat there that they've had a change probably in their governance there with the company too. So I'm not sure if you're aware of that, Leah, but
no.
I was down at Surat this week. So it is close, councillors. So we've got the document done. It's just probably that next step. So hopefully by next fortnight you'll see
some
action
Thank
there.
you. Thanks.
But just on fees and charges, sorry, just don't mind,
No.
Mayor, just, just one in there, there is one in there with fees and charges regarding the, library lettable space down the back of the library there, just saying review the fees and charges. We adopted our fees and charges today. Does that mean we can look at removing that one?
Should be able to.
Don't
but
take
I'll-
it on notice,
I'll
mate,
have to
anyway.
check
Yeah.
what it is in there.
Just while we're talking fees and charges, Madam Mayor.
I've just got one on page 10, that's a tender 26035 Big Rig Cafe Management. It's also on
Do I
page
need
20.
to-
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a double up in there, that's all.
The matter at hand is that it's doubled up in there.
It's doubled up in here. There's one on page 10 and it's also on page 20.
So what happens is that you'll see.
Sorry, just so we're clear, that's the question. The matter at hand is we've got questions on updates. So the matter at hand is the council receive a note, the officer's report.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So councillors, sometimes you'll see a resolution in there more than once, and it's because you've got different officers got an action. And so if it's an airport one, it might appear in Cameron's, and it might appear in, if it's a lease of the cafe out there at the airport, it'll appear in Leah's. So sometimes you will see it in there twice because it's got multiple officers actioning it.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, thanks, Carl. Has anyone got any questions? No? All right, did we have a mover?
Yeah, I moved.
Yes, you, yeah. Would you like to speak?
Once again, just thanks CEO and your team for bringing this to us. It's really helpful, and I just think it's about being open and transparent and keeping us and the community up to date where our resolutions are every month. So thanks so much.
Council also just probably note just with pie graph in there now too. Just obviously
It's impressive.
Yeah.
well it does because we look at what the whole purpose of this is just to identify ones we haven't closed out. It's also good to reflect on how many resolutions you actually do in a year as well. So, sort of pie graph might help reflect
Looks
that.
really good.
It does look really good, thanks.
All right, on that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. We don't have a closed.
No closed this time, councillors.
All right, does anybody have
Before you
anything?
close, someone snuck in here today, and it's very rare that we have a birthday on a
On their
council meeting
birthday.
day. So just happy birthday, councillor Brumpton.
Happy birthday, councillor Brumpton.
I don't want to be reminded, it's a bit
You're not
too
counting, you're not counting, eh?
It's a bit too significant. But thank you.
Well, we won't, will we say?
You can say.
Yeah, happy 60th birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Meryl.
Birthday, Meryl.
Trust me, the 60s are not fun at all.
I'm already feeling that. Thank
On
you,
that
Mayor.
Said on that note.
On that note, we'll close the meeting at 10:21 and thank you all for your attendance.
Very good.